Community radio is based broadcasting which local people produce and present programmes, and has found to be the most important way to help new cultural development in the UK. They broadcast normally to small areas and focus on a specific community or a range of listeners. Their job is to benefit communities rather than make a profit. I researched in local community radios mainly in Greater Manchester. There was 13 in Greater Manchester, situated in Oldham, Wythenshawe, Tameside, Swinton in Salford, Stockport, North Manchester and Bolton. The types of community radios, there was one with bilingual shows, 2 Asian, 1 African being, and the most local. Audiences, one of the community radios called All FM said something for everyone. There was also audiences for Asians, local people living in Bolton, young adults. There was one that said mainly Asian, but they encouraged lots of other listeners. Then there was young people in African Caribbean. Pure FM said all ages and taste. We appealed to the whole family. And then there was another one saying people who work and live in the area. OCR is a community radio based in Oldham, of course, and Y Little Fire is 99.7 FM. It's run mainly by volunteers and has an audience of all ages and races, and it doesn't have a specific area. It just intends to let its listeners in. Its aims is to broadcast a general mix of programme content that does not that draws enough listeners for each of the various communities of Oldham to enable to fulfil its aims. And their programmes are such as Night Night Sleep Tight, which is designed for under 5-year-olds to listen to at bedtime. Oldham Today, which is information about what's happening in Oldham, so the news. A Chance to Meet, a programme where we meet interesting local people and chat about lives and listen to a selection of their music. And Vintage Melodies, which is vintage music for the over 60s, and many, many more. For money, normally for community radios, you have to apply for money and funding. It comes from a number of sources, such as government agencies, local government, public funding, the European Union, the National Lottery or charities, and also local community radios allowed a certain number of advertising and sponsors. And OCR, Oldham Community Radio, have sponsors from Oldham Council, Sport Relief Community Cash, and Zen Internet Limited. For the staff of Oldham Community Radio, as I said before, is mainly volunteers. There is 445 volunteers, which are mainly on the website look like over 60s. They've already had a job, so it looks like it's a hobby of theirs which they enjoy. For the news source, it was hard to research, but it's mainly local news, so they might get it from local newspapers, local people on the community knowing a story. So they're not there for in-house because they're going to the local, they're not getting it from a specific newspaper. And finally, our bulletin really is going to be maybe broadcast on Oldham Community Radio. We have 3 stories: teenage pregnancy, Oldham Theatre Youth Programme, near-death experience. The teenage pregnancy is audience maybe young mums, adults, children. Oldham and near-death experience is for all. All our information is about Oldham, Manchester and the UK. It's quite local, interested people. For all races. So it'd fit in. I've been listening to Oldham Community Radio. The music is different for our intended audience, so we would need to modify this to make it more for their intended audience. And also the time slot, we have more morning when people are going to work, they have a bit later on, 10 o'clock-ish, for their news programme, so this creates a problem for our intended audience.